So, Tate, are you down bad if you schedule like 1 day a week to work with somebody for like
Am I
30
down bad
minutes?
if
For 30 minutes, for 30
a
minutes. Like if they're
hundred
like,
percent, a
oh,
100%. I've been learning a lot about how down bad I am. I have this buddy. I'm not gonna say his name, but he's like really cool, and he like we're both on the same dating apps, and we do the same shit.
wait, wait,
Like, well,
wait,
like
time out. What dating
okay.
apps? What's the go-tos? Real quick.
Oh God, the go-tos. Okay,
Yeah.
so we've got the Tinder, obviously. We've got the Bumble, and then we have the Hinge because this is Mormon, Utah, and also it's a little bit nicer.
Wait, can
Um,
can you give me like a little? I have actually not used dating apps really. I've used Tinder before. Like
mhm.
TLDR, like what is like
Okay,
Bumble versus Hinge?
Tinder.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tinder, everyone knows that's kind of like the hookup app. Some people actually find dates through it, good for them, whatever. Um, yeah. Bumble, it's more for dating. There's like a setting so you can use it to just find friends and stuff like that too. It's a little bit weird. Um, but it's like a little bit tamer version of Tinder. And then Hinge is like strictly relationship kind of stuff. You only get like 6 likes a day or something like that. You can do like a voice response. It encourages you to include a video and stuff like that. So it's trying to show more off of who you actually are instead of just like, hey, let's fuck.
Right. So it's going more for like that authentic relationship, whereas
Yeah.
Tinder's
Whereas the
like
other
quick
Tinder is
15
no
seconds swipe right,
feelings.
swipe left.
Yeah. Tinder is you see a cute picture and you're like, damn. This one is I feel like Tinder, yeah, is you see a hot picture, you swipe right. Bumble
Uh-huh.
is you see like a funny response, you swipe right. And then on Hinge, this is dumb. Like it's all those things, but then if someone includes like a meme as like one of their first pictures, that gives me a better taste of who they are. I don't know
Oh,
why, but for some reason Hinge just feels different than the other dating apps.
okay. So the vibe I'm getting, especially when I was on like Tinder, like probably like 3 years ago, it was Tinder is like just smash or pass
Pretty much.
simulator.
Pretty much.
But okay, sorry to interrupt your story. But so you were on all
So
three,
yeah,
and your
so yeah,
friend is
me
also
and
on all
my buddy,
three.
we're on these dating apps, and we were talking about like dates we'd gone on recently, and I was like, yeah, I don't know, man. Like I feel like I either feel nothing towards people, or I'm just like, oh, I get down bad instantly. And he brought up the fact that he never chases, and I was like, what the hell does that mean? And he's like, oh, I never will like actually pursue a girl unless I'm like 100% in love with her. And I was like, what the hell? Like, how does someone function like that? And apparently that's a really common thing is people just like vibe and just be fine. And I like kind of was like, oh, I'm insane. Because I'm always 100% the kind of person that's like, oh, I think you're cool. Let's like get coffee or something. And he's like, no, no, I don't do that. I get them on the dating app, even if I think they're cool and I would actually go out with them, I get their Snapchat. And I'm like, what the hell is going on?
I, I don't know. Like I'm actually in the same boat as you. My initial impression right away is that your friend is a psychopath, and like
Is a
that we're
psychopath?
we're the normal people. But like I'm kind of doubting my reality a little bit because actually like taking dating advice from Damien is probably the worst shit you can do. So the fact that you and I are on the same page is concerning, I think, for you.
No, I know. That's why I'm like, oh well, my buddy Dame. No, I'm kidding. But no, I was thinking about it because we were talking about it. And he's like, yeah, no, I only ever like chased with one girl, and it was kind of like a weird relationship we had. And I was like, damn, hmm. I'm always the one to chase. And then I was like, maybe I need to just chill out a little bit. What are your thoughts on that? On
So
the
my
chasing?
yeah, I guess like I said, I haven't been on like a dating app in quite a while. I was basically long term relationship into a gap into a long term relationship. So that's been like my like TLDR of my dating experience. But the little time that I was not in a long term relationship, I think I did like all of the chasing, like you were saying. But I think it's
Really?
because like I am very like I don't know invested in my relationships. Like they're all long term. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
really looking for like hookup or anything like that. So usually when I'm talking with somebody, my intention is actually to like get to know them and like hang out with them, go out and get coffee, like you said. Like let's actually like hang out. And
Yeah.
then uh to me, like if you don't invest any, like I've had it happen to me where like the girl will be like, "Oh no, like not messaging me back or like she's not very interested." And for me, I just like move on. Like that's not what I want. So, but I could
Yeah.
see how that's how you
I
play the game, you know.
I see, there's the whole thing of playing the game. You know, I'm in my junior year of college, and I'm finally becoming a young adult at this point. You know, um, and I've also been the type that I'm really when I'm in a relationship, I'm in a relationship. I'm not like, hey, let's just like sleep together and that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
That's a little bit too material for me.
Do you play the
Um,
game though when you're not in the relationship? Like, do you
that's what
when you
I'm
get the
trying.
message, you get the DM, right? And
Uh-huh.
she made you wait 10 minutes when you responding.
I am trying to learn to play the game because people don't respond. People don't respond
They
if
don't.
you like if you I get a message and it's 5 minutes later, I'm like, oh, I'll send a little response. They'll wait an hour. And I'm like, oh, and I'm like, what are you up to? And they're like, nothing. And I'm like, oh, okay. Okay.
Doesn't this feel so different from like when I was in high school? If you were like messaging somebody on like Facebook Messenger app or like honestly Kick was really cool when I was in high school and
Oh my
like
god.
hella messaging was like so normal, you know? I remember like I'd be talking to people and honestly I'd be sitting in my bed just like one chat open, the other chat open, you know, like trying to respond to both like as fast as I fucking can, you know, my fingers are goddamn Lightning McQueen, you know, on my phone. And now like texting people is like a drag. I don't
No,
ever get excited
100%.
texting.
100%. The only time I had very similar. You know, when I was in high school around that age, which I guess wasn't that long ago. You know, I would always be messaging someone. You know, even if it's like a buddy of mine or someone I'm interested in or whoever I was dating, it doesn't matter. You know, I was always in the middle of a conversation. But now, when I send a text message, I don't get a response, and then they respond, and then I go, well, I mean, there's not really any point now. It's been a whole day. So then I wait too, and it's weird.
I
But
I
anyways,
I know I completely agree with you actually on that point where it's like if you get a message like an hour later, 2 hours later, so some of my friends, like my really close friends, will message me back like an hour, 2 hours late, and I'm just like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I mean? But like that's because I know that person super well. But if
mhm.
I'm messaging somebody and I don't know them that well and they're doing that, my just immediate assumption is you don't want to talk to me, so I don't want to talk to you. I don't
Yeah.
know if that's your gut reaction, but like I don't want to wait an hour to have a conversation with you. Like that's just not something I am into.
No, like if I message someone, you know, it's either to start a conversation or to like, you know, relay some information like, oh, you know, change of plans. We're meeting at this time. Or, oh, hey, we're going to hang out, that kind of deal. Or I'm like, hey, what's up? And if someone responds 3 hours later and they're like, just chilling, I'm like, okay, well, now I'm busy and now I don't give a shit, you know?
Right. I guess like what is like our messages look like? Now I'm like super curious and I feel like our messages are usually like we're either talking about the podcast, talking about guests, but there's like a lot of like
It's a
usually
lot of
quick
dumb shit.
response. Yeah, it's like fucking memey cringy shit, but like there's an actual like conversation there whereas like anybody else I talk to, I swear to God, it's like I send one message and then I'm like, well, I'll see you tomorrow. You know?
Yeah. And like I guess it's just like different norms between people. Like I have this buddy that when I was talking about earlier, um and he was like, "Yeah, no, I don't ever text people. Like the only reason I text someone is to give them information in that second. I never want to have like an actual conversation over text messages because I feel weird about it." And I was like, "All right, weird, but valid." Like I
Maybe
mean,
we're the weird ones though. Is what I'm. Is honestly
yeah,
how
but
I'm feeling right about now.
maybe we are. Maybe it's the fact that we spend so much time like online that, you know, sending a message to someone is just like, oh, this is how I contact people, you know?
So I've actually considered that before, where it's like, oh, maybe I'm just like a shut in. Like I'm the fucking, in my computer chair all day long, gaming
Hmm.
response. But then I realized everybody else sits around and does fucking nothing all day long. Like people
No,
are not
yeah.
actually doing things.
Uh,
Like they're watching Netflix. They have a movie on. Like honestly, it's so weird.
no, I actually have like a big gripe. Like this has gotten so off topic, but I have a big gripe against people that are like, oh, like you play video games? Like, I mean, that's kind of nerdy or whatever. Like that's not like a bit like a normal take anymore. Most people are pretty cool about, you know, if you play nerdy shit or whatever.
Yeah.
But they're like, oh, you like board games and video games? That's, you know, a little weird. And then they are on their 12th rewatch of The Office. It's like, come on. At least I'm doing something.
Yeah, no, I was talking to my brother about this actually because he wanted to take a break from video games for like a
Hmm.
week and just like he's been trying stuff out a little bit here and there. He went like vegan for 2 weeks to give it just a
Oh,
shot,
cool.
you know. He made it the 2 weeks. It was pretty wild. But
Cool.
He didn't stick with it afterward because I guess he's like down to eat meat. He just wanted to see what it would be like though.
Oh yeah, I mean, and especially with those like health things, you could see if it gives you like any net positive thing. Oh, I feel better. That would be a reason to stay doing it. But if it's just like, oh, I ate differently and it was just different. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
It's not
just
really worth it.
more like constricting basically. But
Yeah.
I will say like for him, like he had some takeaways. So like I guess anyone like listening, if they're down to be like try being vegetarian or vegan, like you could try it for like a week and you might actually get some like pretty positive takeaways. For him, like he's actually like taking regular milk out of his like diet. Like he goes to coffee shops and gets oat milk because it just worked. You know
Oh,
what I
so
mean?
he's bougie? No, I'm kidding. I did the
Yeah,
same.
basically he's down to pay 75 more cents for the same goddamn drink.
It's the same drink, but I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real. I'm lactose intolerant, so it helps my bowels survive the week.
Yeah,
No.
okay, I should clarify for like me and him because we're not lactose intolerant. It's the same
Oh,
drink.
so he just does it purely because.
He just
Okay.
liked it when he was being vegan. He was like, "Oh,"
Oh, nice.
but I
It
was
is. It
go
is a
ahead.
different thing. I mean, and
It
I
is
guess it's more like not reliable. That's not the word I'm looking for. You go.
well, what I was gonna say is I actually drink oat milk too, even though I'm not lactose intolerant. But I'll drink regular milk if like they don't have oat milk or something.
Oh, I need to clarify something with you. Are you drinking milk, or is this milk you put in things?
I do not just pour milk into a glass and drink it.
Thank
If that's
God.
what you're
I was about to be concerned.
No, so I mean, when I go to a coffee shop, I will get oat milk as my like base. So like right now, I have a pumpkin oat milk latte, right? So just
Mm-hmm.
substitute out the 2%. But no, I'm not pouring milk into a glass and drinking it like a heathen.
No, yeah, I kind of figured that most people kind of like outgrow that by the time they turn like 7.
It lasted
It's
longer than 7 for me. I think I was in like 7th grade when like I realized why am I just drinking a cold glass of milk?
I have never enjoyed a cold glass of milk. Like a chocolate milk, that's sugary and sweet. I'm behind that. But milk,
Oh,
nasty. Nasty as fuck.
I don't know. It's just like until I was in like late middle school, it just like worked, and then suddenly it didn't. I think it's because of school milk. It's like in
School milk,
the cartons, like the wood, the little boxes.
I'm aware of what they are, but I'm again, didn't go to school, so I don't have that like fondness for them.
Right. I would say that it was just really terrible milk. So I think it just like wrecked the experience for me. But I had a point actually that I was getting at. Oh, my brother was trying to like not play video games. Holy
Sure.
fuck, was that a tangent? But he was like he was asking me, he's like, what the fuck do regular people do who don't play video games? He's like, I have so much time where like I could be playing a single player game, I could be playing multiplayer, like whatever. And honestly, it just became like TV Simulator 2022. And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
TV simulator.
it's like you try and get your friends to hang out, and then yeah, they'll like hang out, but you realize it is so much easier to get your friends to hang out and play games than it is to do anything else that costs a bunch of money or like
No, yeah,
time or
because
like
it costs money, and people also don't like to do shit. And if they
that.
like to do shit, they don't have money. Those are the two friends you have.
Those are the two friends that you have, and honestly, I'm somehow both of them. I don't want to spend my money going out doing stupid shit, and I don't even want to do shit. Actually, you know what I mean? It's such a strange phenomenon. Like I
No,
dated this
that's a
girl.
good way to be. That's a good way to be.
That's true. It's a money saver. But I was in a relationship and neither of us were like outgoing people, but she like really insisted that she was outgoing or like wanted to go out, but like wouldn't go
Hmm.
out. And it was really awkward because I pitched these like pathetic like ideas for like, oh, we should just go check this out. Like, doesn't this sound cool? And she'd be like, that sounds really lame. And I'm like, okay, wait a second. Hold on. I'm actually saying we go out and do something. You keep telling me you want to go out and do something. You either gotta like you do it or like accept the fact that the things I want to do might not be the coolest shit in the world for you. But have you had that happen to you?
Well, yes. I can't think of any specific times in relationships. But something like a way of going off of that a little bit. That has to do with it. My family always like we weren't like the most like go out and do stuff kind of family, but every once in a while, my mom would be like, "Hey, we're gonna go for a hike," and it would be like a random, weekend. We're like, "Oh, I mean, I guess." I guess it's the weekend that she wants to go out and do something. And we'd all go, and she'd post pictures like we had a great time, but we'd all just be like breathing hard, and we'd all be trying to get through it fast instead of enjoying our time. And it was like, what's the point of going out and doing this if all of us are having a bad time?
It's for the picture, really, right? Like, shout out to
Oh,
Julie, by the way. We do it every
shout out to
episode.
Julie. Every episode, baby.
But it is kind of like, well, she probably actually really enjoyed herself in hindsight. Like, my mom
Yeah,
really
no.
likes getting out and doing stuff, even if like everyone around her is
Well, the
suffering.
thing is, like, I look back on those memories really fondly, but then when I really think about it, I'm like, none of us were having a good time, but it was the time spent together. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. But there are things we all enjoyed doing together that we could have been doing.
That's true. I guess if you look back, is there any memories you have where you're like, okay, that was fun to do and we spent time together? Because I feel like
Yeah,
I
like,
actually have those memories, and it's definitely not hiking.
it's definitely not hiking. Like, don't get me wrong, I love hiking now, but back then, no, there were a million other things I would rather be doing with my family.
Yeah, water parks were pretty sweet, dude. I always loved the water parks as a kid.
You were a water park kid.
Well, we didn't go frequently, but yeah, I like when I was a kid, I always wanted to go swimming. Like river, pond, whatever, man. Just get me in the water. But now, like, I never swim. But
Yeah.
that's entirely a separate issue.
Yeah, I never have been a swimmer because of like my whole body issues. Even at like a young age, I was
That's
like, fuck no, I'm not taking my shirt off.
that's what happened to me, but like reverse. I like was really skinny as a kid, so like I felt like, oh, like I
Mhm.
felt great, with the pool or whatever. And then like now I'm like actually like a fine weight where I'm at right now, but like
Mhm.
honestly,
No, but
I
it's
don't know
just
what
a
the fuck happened.
mental game.
Yeah, I've lost the mental battle with my physical appearance.
No, 100% same. Um,
It's
yeah. Anyways, how did we get here?
we were we were talking about like pursuing relationships.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, anyways, the chase thing. I have been thinking about it a lot, and I have realized I don't care anymore about the whole whether I chase or not. I'm just going to keep doing my thing. Um which is like that means there's no point in this story, but it was just something I wanted to talk about.
No, that's good because like, I think that's what I was kind of getting at too, which is like my thing, which is like being down bad, basically. Where you're like,
Yeah,
oh,
no, like
like
I'm gonna be down bad, but like that's part of me. So if people want to go out with me, they're gonna have to get used to it.
that's actually exactly how I feel too, where I'm just like, listen, this is part of the package, unfortunately. The down bad part, that's tied in, It's like
No,
a
yeah,
bundle.
like
Have you ever seen those like gaming bundles where you're like, oh, you get the mouse, you get the keyboard, and then it's like, also you get the toothbrush, and you're like, wait a second, like I don't know if I want the toothbrush, but like,
can we talk about useless bundles that are for video games? Because there are so many. There
I
are
actually
so many.
I can't think of any. Do you have one off the top of your head?
The biggest one I can think of, this is going to go into a Pokemon tangent, by the
Oh
way.
my god.
So the new Pokemon games are coming out in what, like October, November? And, they're going to be the exact same game that's been released a million times, but with different Pokemon, whatever. And they announced today that Ed Sheeran wrote a song for the game, and all I can think about is playing the game and like I don't know, trying to nuzlocke it, and then you're started out and you're like, fuck, and then it's like fucking
My bad
Lego
habits.
House or whatever. Yeah, but bad habit, and you're just like, motherfucker, why is this? I've never played through a Pokemon game and said, I wish there was more Ed Sheeran. I wish there was more vocals. What the hell?
That's so funny, man.
But
Oh
anyways,
my god.
to get to the bundle thing, I saw that the same buddy who I've been bringing up this entire time.
It's
sent
not
me
James
that-
Wong, right? It can't
James
be.
Wong.
You
No,
would name
oh my
drop
God.
him. Okay.
I would name drop James Wong. But yeah, he sends me that and he goes, "Oh my god!" And then I go to their Twitter, obviously, to see the post to make sure it's legit. And I was like, "God damn, this is upsetting." But the next thing I see is there's a pre-order bonus for the game, which the pre-order bonus is in-game you get one of each berry, which is essentially worth 3 minutes of game time.
Oh
Whereas,
yeah,
like,
baby.
in the old games it was like, oh, get a special Pokemon that you can't get. Now it's like, yeah, you get berries, fuck you.
You
And
just
I
could
was like,
run over to the bush and grab a few, or you can
literally,
pre-order the game.
you can literally run to any bush. And I was like, okay, this is weird. But then I looked to see like what the box art looked like, and they had a like, it wasn't a deal. You wouldn't get it for any cheaper, but you can buy a special box that has both the identical Pokemon games besides the title as a duo. for the same price as buying both separate. And I was like, what's the point? What's the point of getting both? This bundle means nothing. I get 6 in-game berries and 2 of the same game.
It's, I guess you have 2 kids. You're not getting it cheaper though. You could just buy it separately.
You're not getting it cheaper, and then you only have 1 case. So what's the point?
Yeah,
I just
I'm trying to think. Is there any I can think of where I'm just like, Jesus Christ, that is so fucking stupid.
I mean, oh, also, this has nothing to do with special releases, but they're re-releasing Skyrim again on the Switch as an anniversary edition.
I'm surprised that they haven't done this twice already.
They've already done it twice, I think, which is the crazy part. This is the 3rd one, because they had the original, and then they had the first anniversary, and now it's like the special anniversary edition. And one of my cohort in my program was like, who plays a lot of RPGs, was like, hey, is this like a cool thing? Are they adding new content? And I was like, if you played it on the Switch, yeah, there's new content. If you played it on anything else, it's been there for, I shit you not, 15 years.
It's holy fuck.
Because like Skyrim's old, but like, we already talked about this. I think it came out what 2011.
We did. We talked about it, but like I'm always so shocked how old the game is. I still play it every now and then. I mean, hella modded, but like.
Too. But that's the crazy thing. That game has stood the fucking test of time. Oh my god.
Oh, I just remembered what I was going to bring up to you. It was because we were on the topic of Ed Sheeran, like
oh god,
making music for Pokemon. Did you see the Lil Nas X song for Worlds League of Legends?
I haven't listened to it yet, but I was like, I like Lil Nas. I hate League of Legends. Maybe this is a fun thing. Is it bad?
I actually like the song. Like, I think it's
the song.
I think it's a good song. I think a lot of the League community had some backlash because it's not a Skrillex song. You know, like, and they really love their Silver Scrapes and Skrillex and Bangarang and like.
Man, nothing beat Silver Scrapes in a shitty YouTube montage for League of Legends.
It's iconic, but
it's iconic.
I would say that I like the song. I think it's fine. I think I get why people are frustrated that it's the League of Legends Worlds like song because they have like an expectation, right? And their expectation wasn't met. But like I think a lot of the League community recognizes, hey, this is like a good song, but like this isn't what I wanted, basically. So I don't. Have you experienced that in anything else? You're like, okay, like this is cool, but like I did not ask for this.
I mean, I think I'm gonna experience it with this new Pokemon game.
You think so?
I mean, it's not every day you have some weird collab like that.
It makes me think of like when my mom comes home with like a cool t-shirt or like some socks or something for me from like Hot Topic or something.
No, actually,
and like they say
you're
like hentai on them or something and you're like, I will never wear this, but like I'm you
like,
know what, I'm glad you got this for me. Like
this is sick as hell, but what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, exactly. You're like, I will never use this for what you thought I was, but like thanks.
Yeah, no, I think I can think of not necessarily music, but like when like Multiverses was announced, I was like, oh, that's cool, but why? But why does this exist now?
But
you know? Or
no,
like anytime Marvel announces a new project, I'm like, oh, cool. Did we need it? I think we can be done.
Any askers?
Oh my god, no askers in the chat.
Fuck.
Oh my god. But speaking of movies, there is a fucking Little Mermaid remake coming up soon.
Right, I saw that, I think, on like Twitter.
And and it's got what's her face? The actress. She's a POC actress, and people were like up in arms about there being a black mermaid in Little Mermaid. Why is Ariel black? And I have a lot of thoughts on that because it's like, why should you give a shit? First of all, like, I mean,
that is also my initial impression, is why the fuck does it matter?
Like, but a lot of the takeaways I've had from it are this is going to be awesome, not just for like, you know, children growing up and all that, but also this is the weirdest way to think about it. At like Disneyland, now there can be like black Ariels, so that opens up a whole bunch of jobs for people. Like,
oh my god,
competition.
You're right.
Like, oh, facts as fuck. And then I'm in this class in my program where we're staging songs for musicals. It's really cool. And one of the gals in my class is working on a song from The Little Mermaid. And she was like being a little fidgety and a little like a little tense. And they were like, our professor was like, just be a human. And I was like, actually, she's not a human. She's a mermaid. And then I thought about this and I was like, man, people are going crazy over a black non-human. What's going on?
It's very bizarre, actually. So I don't know much about this like the film industry very much, but
Mhm.
from what I understand, it's like isn't it very like oversaturated with like white actors filling
Oh,
non-white roles?
100%.
Like
100%. What was the any what was the role that Scarlett Johansson did? It was like a known light comic or manga in like Japan, and then she played the lead, and it was like, what's going on?
yeah, I see that's the thing that like my understanding is like we already have like white people playing non-white roles hella. So like
Yeah.
I don't know why it even really matters. Like nobody
Eh,
gets up in arms about like a white character playing someone who's supposed to be like Japanese. I don't really know like what the film you're referencing
Oh
here
yeah,
is. So
Ghost in the Shell. Ghost in the Shell. And yeah, I think it's some sort of one of the Asian countries. I
I
don't know exactly which
is
one.
Ghost in the Shell like a Japanese anime or
I don't know. I just know that it is an anime that came out in 2006. So it's like, oh, it is Japanese.
okay?
So
So
yeah,
presumably we have like a white actress playing a Japanese character,
and like
and
that
no one
got
gives a shit.
backlash, but nowhere near. Like it was like, oh, what the hell, and people were done with it. This
Hmm.
is like people like are upset. They're like, oh, my childhood. Shut the fuck up. It's Disney.
My
Literally,
childhood. There's I
literally,
might get
Danny.
exposed to a person of color.
No, on God, Danny DeVito played a devil in Hercules. Is that gonna be a problem? Can only short people play devils? What the fuck?
There
Just let
is
people do shit.
there is some like serious levels of like hypocrisy and like I don't even know, just like cognitive dissonance of like you have to somehow be in denial of like that white people are taking these other roles that white people shouldn't be playing, but also like it's only a problem one way, and it's like what the fuck is
No,
going on?
it's a whole like what is it? Can of worms. There we go. I was gonna say bag. That's not the.
It's a whole
It's a
fucking
whole.
it's a whole
It's a whole.
sack of worms. You ever seen a
It's a whole.
money bag?
Yeah, like a cartoon character stealing from a jail. Not a jail. I'm okay. I need to chill.
But
Anyways,
it's worms instead of the money in the bag.
yeah, but it's worms. It's just bait. We're fishing. Um, and well, anyways, there's the whole Little Mermaid thing, and then recently I went and saw this student produced small opera, like a one act opera at the
Hmm.
university that was about a mermaid, and it was a
Oh
really
wait, was it
weird.
based on the Little Mermaid or is
No,
this
it
like
was not based
independent? This
independent, completely separate, but it was weird because in the show, a few of my friends got like asked to do like the ensemble stuff because they need opera. Okay, this is gonna be a big thing. People who do opera and people who do musical theater, saying a dancer is completely different. If you're a musical theater dancer, you are leagues better than an opera dancer. You could be
whoa.
one of the
Is
worst
this
musical
tea?
theater well, like no, this isn't tea. They just, opera people, they only focus on the voice. They don't take dance classes. They don't work on that.
Oh.
So, like some of my buddies and me, we're not in the highest level of dance. We're not like the most amazing. We can dance, but it's like, we are stronger in other areas, but they went up and they looked like stars compared to some of those opera people. I was like, damn, that's rough. But
Wait, so what
anyways,
is ensemble? You said you're friends with it? What is that?
an ensemble role. It's like in a. God, I never thought I'd. Yeah, I guess this is just so like
Yeah, like I
normal to
just like
me.
literally don't even know what that means. You told me that and I was like, yeah, uh-huh. They
So
were
if someone were to say like the general ensemble of things, if you're in the ensemble of a show, it's like if you were to go see The Wizard of Oz, say, because that's something you know.
mhm.
You've got Dorothy, you've got the Tin Man, you've got Lion and the Scarecrow, you've got the Wicked Witch. Those are the characters. Then the ensemble would be like, oh, I play a Munchkin, I play one of the talking trees, I'm,
Oh,
one
it's
of the
all
flying
of the
monkeys.
other
It's the
shit.
extra. So like if you watch like the Muppet movie, it's like
Hmm.
you've got the Muppets, you've got Jason Segel, you got, your cast. And then you've got, the guy working the counter. You need people there so it feels real,
Yeah.
and they help make the world feel so much more lived in.
Hmm.
So I had some buddies that were in the ensemble, and also in musicals they add to the vocal like largeness of a show, and
Right,
they
because
can
they
make it so much more
participate.
diverse.
Hmm.
Yeah, so it's not just like you're standing there. You are part of the world. You are someone that people have to be aware of. You are going to be making choices. You're going to be singing. You're going to be dancing. And in this show, it was a good production, but it was weird because it was a one act made by some random guy, and they just wanted to put it on with some people. They had auditions for it like a while ago. They did it, whatever. but the entire leading cast was all like people POC except the POC people except the mermaid, and then there was a whole song about the ensemble and like the main POC people kicking the shit out of her for being different, and I was like,
Wait,
this just
wait a
feels
second.
weird. This just feels like weird.
I wait. Can you run it past me again? Hold on. I think I'm having a hard time taking in
No,
the
I know,
situation you just described. So, how did this get set up? Like, how did this even
bro.
occur?
Bro, I don't
Like, I'm
know, but
missing so much in this right now.
wasn't cast in a way that it was like, oh, we want POC people to be everyone else, and then there's one white person that is like singled out. It was like, oh, these are the people that are talented for the roles, but it just ended up being this way
It
that
was
there's
an
like
accident. I see.
it was an
Okay,
accidental like weird racial take, and I was like, man,
I
what the
yes,
hell's going on?
I'm following you because the first time I heard you tell it, I was interpreting it as like it was a deliberate direction. And I
No,
was
no,
like, what
that's
the
why
fuck
I'm
is
gonna
going
reiterate
on right
that.
now?
No,
Okay,
it's just because those were the talented people they had, and it was just unfortunate because it just felt like the director was taking it in this weird direction.
okay, so I follow. And I guess what do you do if you're in that performance? Like if you were in something and you were like, "Wait, this is suddenly like
Well, I
not
mean,
the story I think we're trying to tell." Has that
I
ever
think,
happened to you?
hmm,
And if so, like what did you do?
let me think on that. Well, I don't want to like say like anything like that because I don't want people to think things of me. But I mean, I've been in weird situations like that before. But like, okay, this is gonna be a weird tangent. This is gonna be a
Okay,
weird tangent.
I'm ready for this.
So yeah, like in this situation, it wasn't anything to do with that. But in small communities, sometimes they make weird choices.
Mhm.
And I was in one production back in Oregon a while ago, where one of the the leading characters, one of the principal actors, was a person of color,
Mhm.
and the creative team was a full group of elderly white men, and they were like, "Yeah, we're really taking a leap by casting you here," and I was like, okay. That's weird to say that. He was amazing. He was fantastic.
Mhm.
But then he
The
tried
sentence is a little weird though.
yeah, they they had like a lot of character work sessions, and he really wanted to, make his character real for himself, like he was playing, a coach of a team back in whatever 70s or 50s or something like that, and he was a baseball team, and he's like, I just want this to be, like a real story. I want to show that this isn't like a normal thing back then. I've gone through hardships and all that. And they're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And anytime he would try to add like anything to it, any sort of flavor, any sort of real depth, they're like, nah, let's scrap that. And it was like, hey guys, what the fuck's going on? And in that situation, I was a little bit too young and naive to do anything.
Mhm.
Nowadays, I'd probably be like, hey, what's going on? Um, but instead, back then, I was like, I'm gonna get a paycheck.
Yeah, it's
um, because then it's a whole thing where it's like, I don't know. There's a lot of inequality in the performance area, but I mean, that's nothing that we can solve just one person. It needs to be a group effort.
no for sure. And I think a lot of people are taking like positive steps. And we see some like
Yes.
backtracking, unfortunately. Like, it sucks, but like I would say, do you think performance as an industry is moving forward faster or slower than the rest of like careers? If you were like you're the Bureau of Labor Statistics and now we have some like random metric for like, how industries are moving forward, would you say it's slower or faster?
What would your definition of forward be in this instance?
I guess
Like forward
like
thinking?
yeah, like more like forward thinking, being more open minded to different ideas, not just like being closed minded for like
Well,
um
I mean, compared to other like businesses, because I mean, if you look at the performance industry as a business, I mean, like, because it is,
mhm,
you they have to be more forward thinking in a lot of ways because there's so many different types of people that want to tell their own stories, but at the same time, there are a lot of people that are still in the industry that are a lot older and have certain ways of thinking about things, and it's not necessarily they are thinking things in a bad way. It's just those are the ways they know how to do things, so they're going to continue to do those ways.
mhm.
And but okay, I'm gonna talk for a second, so just be prepared to listen.
I'm
So,
listening, don't you worry.
this is a lot. you know, because it might not even be anything on them. Maybe they do have some things that they need to think about in a different way. Maybe there's some racism or there's some homophobia or something. Or maybe
Hmm.
it's just, hey, these are the kind of people that I've seen up there before. These are the kind of people I want to see. These are the things I like. These are the things that work.
Hmm.
But also, there are millions of different types of people. Everybody is their own individual. So it gets to be confusing with performances because oftentimes there's not just one right person for a job. You know, a
Right. You
ton
might
of
have like
different people.
five candidates who could play the role in different ways, but it would be like a similar character.
Yeah, and
Like
then
they,
it
go
it
ahead.
becomes down to other things too, like especially with performances, like in musical theater. The biggest thing that this program talks about is you need to be someone people like. Don't
Hmm.
be an asshole. Like if you're gonna subtweet people, don't put it in your drafts, delete it, that kind of stuff,
Hmm.
because people's opinion on you will make or break your career. People will put you up. You'd be like, hey, I want to hire this person. I see that you did a job with them. You worked a show with them. What were they like? And if they have anything bad to say about you, you're not going to get hired.
Hmm.
You might be the best for the job, but if you're the worst person to work with, you're not going to get the job.
Hmm. It is
But this
kind of
is
like an
all,
industry of connections. We've talked about that before on previous
yes.
episodes.
But this is also just me saying what I've learned from other people, because I'm not out there yet. I'm still in the university. So I need to see these things for myself before I could give you a concrete, hey, yeah, the industry's moving forward, or hey, no, they're taking a step back. Because I'm in Utah right now. One of the biggest theaters here that's like, it's technically not equity because they're run by a bunch of people in the Mormon church. They're only going to hire the people they want. They actively do things and take queer things out of shows. They will change the script so there's no curse words, and that effectively changes the story because it changes how someone would talk.
Hmm.
But they have money, and their shows look nice, so people will go there. Then that pushes performers that have more experience and more ability to also want to go there because that's where the money's at. It's a whole sack of worms, man.
The whole money bag, the cartoon money bag of worms.
A whole cartoon money bag of worms.
No, I think it's difficult because like you kind of have to shoehorn yourself into the, I guess, desirable, I guess, role. I
Yeah.
mean, it's weird because that's the whole thing, actually, right? That's the whole point of theater is like you becoming somebody else, right? And like
Hmm.
filling a role, but like they're even constraining the role to the point where maybe the character isn't even like represented accurately as they would in the original story, or like
Hmm.
uh some stories won't even get told, unfortunately. Like we talked about on our, it might have been our very first episode, like the biggest county in Utah banning like LGBT books and like
Oh
books from like
yeah.
people of color. Like honestly, when you told me that about like the Utah theaters like taking certain roles and like having certain performances, like I'm absolutely not shocked after our
No,
previous
there
conversations.
was there was just a big deal with one local theater or local-ish theater. There's a theater in Utah that was going to do the show The King and I, which is very very a very racially driven show, but they were going to do it with an entirely white cast, and that's a show that's been done by a lot of white casts in the past, and it's very insensitive. It's not a good thing to do, and
Hmm.
they were getting a ton of backlash, and then they, instead of canceling it at first, they just turned off comments on their posts.
Oh baby.
And I think last time I checked, I saw it was canceled. That's, yeah. Community theaters often do shitty stuff, so
Hmm.
you don't know if that's true or not. They could have done stuff in private.
Hmm.
Um, but it's just a whole thing. It's a whole thing. And I mean, I'm not like qualified to be like, oh, this is like people need to be stopped for this because I'm 19 in a fucking college apartment.
Right. No, no, I get it. I get the complaint though, and like the frustration. Like personally, hearing this stuff makes me feel like I don't know. I think in the back of everybody's minds, they're like really aware of this kind of stuff. But hearing you tell me about the industry a little bit and behind the scenes, it's like a reminder of like you don't know what you don't know. So like
Hmm.
you're so naive. Like think about all the other spaces and all the other industries that are like denying, like job applications or
Yeah.
denying like certain people, and it's like unfortunately it's like everywhere. It fucking sucks. It's really, but I
Yeah,
get
it
that.
sucks ass.
Uh, I guess like maybe to twist this onto like maybe a bright note, maybe it'll get more negative, but like we're talking about your job and your career here for like being in theater, but like one thing I've been curious about is like making friends at your job and like making friends as like an adult. And like I think in my experience, I develop a lot of like surface level friends, and that's really common for me, especially in like college. My experience has been like I have my high school friends, and then I have like my work friends, but like the work friends are usually really surface level and like disappear after either you leave the job or they leave the job. And then your college friends, I don't know if you've had this experience, you only have them for like 10 weeks, at least in Oregon. Utah I think does two terms instead of like trimesters
Yeah,
like we do in Oregon.
yeah. The U viewed as 2 semesters that are what 16 weeks, something like that,
maybe
15
that
weeks.
maybe that helps. So I guess getting your perspective on it will be interesting because I only see my peers for like 10 weeks, and then I go to another class, and I'm in upper division only now, so like I am running into the same people, and like honestly I'm very pleasantly surprised actually when I run into them. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's you. Like I'm actually really excited that you like passed all your classes and we're like here together, and it kind of feels like I'm actually getting like a sense that I'm in like a cohort now where I'm like, oh my
Hmm.
gosh, like I have my peers. Like I'm running into you and you and you, and we're taking all of our classes together, and like we're at the end of our program, and like we're seeing who made it and who didn't. Uh,
Mm.
but I'm not actually friends with these people. You know what I mean? I don't
Hmm.
message them. I don't hang out with them. Like I guess contrast that being in theater because I'm a psychology major, as we've said before. So like maybe
Hmm.
we're just like isolated nerds, and like we only do like collaborations when our people make us. But like, are you making friends at your program? Are you like finding friends at work? Like,
Oh
give me
yeah,
give me the rundown. What's your
100%.
situation?
Well, because we're so like in this program specifically, I don't know how others work in their own way, but we're so in our own bubble. Like we have classes together. We take our generals outside. We have a few of our classes for our major that we take with the other arts programs. But for the most part, you are seeing the same people in the same classes every single day for 4 years.
How many
You know,
people are we talking about here in a
we have
class?
the large with well, like the different grade levels, like the entire musical theater program here is probably just around 60 some.
So we're
Um,
talking like 20 per class almost.
well, oh yeah, so ours is 25, 20, 25, 24 and we're the largest class. Every other class is in like the 18, 19. I think the newest class is 13 people.
Mhm.
So it's getting smaller. They're starting to accept less and less people so they can focus more and more time on these other people because with my class, it was a whole thing where it was like, oh, they sent out letters to people so they could come in, but then COVID happened, so people dropped. Some people stayed. Some people transferred over from other schools because they didn't like how their program worked and they heard good things about ours. That kind of stuff. So
Mhm.
it ended up in just this weird way having way more people in our class. So that means some classes, we have less time to work with the professors, which is, not ideal, but there's still office hours that we can go to if we need their advice on things, which is
Right.
great.
I mean, you're saying your class is big with 25 people. My classes have like 300 sometimes.
Hmm.
So like seeing the professor's impossible. Like you don't see
No,
them. You only see their TAs, and they have like three of them, and you might see like one week, one the other week, and like but
yeah.
I'm sure that
No,
doesn't help
it's
me.
yeah. Um, it's very different. We know our professors by their names. We talk to them. They give us their numbers so we can message them when things come up. That kind of stuff. Or if there's audition opportunities and they want, we're like, hey, this is up there. You should put it in the Canvas notification. That kind of stuff. But yeah, making friends. Since we spend so much time together, you're gonna develop relationships. You're gonna get to be friends. So I have a ton of friends in my cohort.
Mhm.
But at the same time, because you spend so much time with each other and you're so invested in each other's lives, that also brings up drama. Or, on the other hand, some people start dating, and then that's like a whole other box of worms because, what happens when people break up in the program? Then you have to see each other every day, and, maybe it's not a clean breakup and things are weird, or, that kind of stuff. And it can get messy, but it can be a very very comforting space because the people, what their opinions are, the way they think on things. But the biggest thing in my classes in this program is like to support each other. We're all here for the same reason. It doesn't matter if you can sing higher or stronger than someone. They can probably do something better than you. They have just the same amount of right to be there.
Mhm. No, I think I don't know. It sounds like you have like a much tighter like cohort than me, so you kind
Hmm.
of develop your connections faster. My question
Mhm.
then would be, do you feel like they're surface level, or do you feel like a lot of these people are actually gonna be like your friends? Like, do you call any of them up to hang out? Like, do you do game night? Do you do like movie night? Like, because I can tell you with
There are
certainty. Oh, go ahead. I'll let you go
no, no,
first.
no. You continue. You continue.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, for me, like, I saw a girl from my program who I've been with basically the whole time. I've even been in a group with her, and I got like her number for like a group chat. I didn't even save it. You know what I mean? And then she saw me
Mhm.
later, and we were both like, did the weird like, what was your name? You know what I mean? We did that, and it's like, okay, so we like re-exchanged, and we're in this class together in our senior year now, and it's like I would never like message her to like hang out, and like I got her number and her name again, so like this time I can actually like reach out for projects and stuff, because I don't know, as seniors it just feels more like personal, I guess. Like I'm gonna run into her like every single day, I
Mhm.
swear to God, but like um yeah, like I don't even like consider these people my friends. They're literally like my colleagues. Like
Mhm.
I would message them like, hey, so like I was thinking about this idea or this paper or like this assignment, like what do you think about this? And that's like the extent of it, you know what I mean?
Okay. Okay. Interesting. No, I've had a very different experience with mine. I have a lot of friends. Don't get me wrong. There are so like in my class even of 25, we've gotten so close. We're on our third year together. But there are some people that I'm like, yeah, by the time we graduate, I don't know if I'll ever hear from this person again. And that's like weird because we spend so much time together even as is, but some of them are friendships because we are here and we're friends, and some are like, hey, let's hang out. Like I'll hang out with a good majority of the people in my program even, but I also am the kind of person that is like, hey, I can, have some kind of relationship with this person. Let's do something. I don't care
Mm-hmm.
if it's we go to the park and hang out or whatever. There are, I will say, in the program, the people with the same out interests aside from theater, I have met 3, 4 people that have the same interests as me outside of theater. Like, and I live with 2 of them. So it
Wait.
it it becomes like the things that you're interested outside of our work, because we
Oh,
spend so
okay.
much time working on our music, our dance, our acting. And then I'm like, hey, who likes board games? And there's, 4 people. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then I'm like, hey, who likes anime? And I get a bunch of weird looks. And then there's 4 people, but 2 of them are the same people and 2 are different people. And I'm like, oh, okay, who wants to hang out? Then it's like, one of those people. I'm like, all right, you're my friend now. That's
Okay,
the kind
so
of stuff that happens.
I see what you mean. So there is like
I am
it's
friendly with these people, but we have almost nothing in common.
okay. I guess that's kind of what I'm getting at. Is like I would actually say I'm friendly with my like cohort as well. Like almost all of them, I like being around them in general. You know what I mean? Like I think they're great people, but like yeah, I just don't think hanging out would be in the cards. And I guess we're both kind of agreeing, or both not agreeing. It's not like we're having a debate, but like we both seem to be in the same position where it's like we like the people we're around, but like finding like meaningful stuff to do together is kind of like not really there. It
No,
seems like.
yeah, like I would we differ a little bit because I will and have hung out with a bunch of people in my group of people, my cohort.
Mhm.
Um, but it's not the kind of thing that happens all the like. I think with many people in my class, we are not each other's first choice. But when we hang out, we'll have like a pretty good time,
Mhm.
and
No,
that's like about the extent of it.
okay, yeah. So it seems like we're mostly similar, but also like there is differences. Cause like my
Yeah.
class size has been absolutely fucking huge. So like I think making the meaningful connection has been much harder for me. Whereas you've
Mm-hmm.
had the same people, so like I think you know them a lot better than I know my classmates. But
Mm-hmm.
like we're both kind of like, well, you're all cool, but like also like you want to play a game, and they're like, a game, and you're like, board game maybe, and they're like, board game, what the fuck? You're like, and
Mm-hmm.
then one person's like, actually, that sounds sweet, man. Like, let's
Yeah,
get
one
in on that.
person's yeah, and it's weird because like I've spent years with these people, and just recently now that I have like a space to have people over, I'm like, hey, who wants to play board games? And it's like not the people I would expect. I have like my people I've been hanging out with that I think I know really well, and they're like,
Uh-huh.
I don't really, I'm not like, I'll play them like if it's like with a family thing, but like it's not my first choice. And then there's people that I share maybe 3 words with in a class, and they're like, yeah, I'm down. I have Betrayal at my house, and I'm like, oh, let's go.
They're like, get me in there now. I have my character
Literally.
for the last 5 weeks ready, waiting for you to ask me. And
No,
you're
yeah,
like,
like my roommate that I I hardly knew before moving in. I didn't know anything about him, and he I was like, so like, what do you like to do? And he's like, well, every Tuesday and Thursday I do D&D with my friends back at home. We've been in this campaign for a year and a half, and I was like, holy shit, what?
That's
I
sick as
didn't know
fuck.
anything about you. I like that's cool as hell. I
Wait,
mean,
are you doing a D&D run, Tate, right now? Quick
not
little
right now,
D&D
no.
tangent? Oh, okay, I am.
God, I would. Oh, you are? You want
I
to go on a
am.
little D&D tangent?
No, I'm in a campaign right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I one of my friends is he's running a campaign. It's actually pretty sweet. It's like the whole thing is like his original idea. It's like homebrew or whatever, and it's like an isekai. So like our characters were like regular ass people, and then like now they're in this other world. So
Oh, that's sick.
it's kind of funny because like the first 2 sessions are just us being like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is that? And there was so many bits that we beat to fucking death, which is like every time we ran into this one character. Funny enough, one of my friends is playing a theater kid, and he wants to be a bard. He became a bard, obviously, right? Like you have to.
That's so fucking funny. I play a bard every other time I play D&D.
That's iconic. So he's like a theater kid and he plays a bard. And every time we ran into somebody during our first session, he would ask them about, oh, have you heard of this theater? Have you heard of this performance? Like, and then
Dude,
our DM has to be like, play another NPC and be like, no, I don't know what the fuck Spider-Man No Way Home is. You know what I mean? Like,
holy shit.
it
Oh
was,
my god.
it was an iconic bit though. I loved it.
You know what the funniest thing coming to school from musical theater was? Seeing the people who did theater but weren't like that interact with the people who are 100% like that and being like, damn, this is my life now. Because I was very much, I did a lot of theater. I listen to a lot of cast recordings, but I don't usually talk a lot of theater unless it's with someone who does theater.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I try to keep conversations on other things.
I think it's
But-
hard to have that conversation with non-theater people to begin
Yeah,
with.
but James Wong, my roommate that we love so much, he will go up to anyone and ask them what their favorite dance routine is from the chorus line. He will start dancing anywhere. He will sing where he wants. He is the theater kid. He's the theater kid.
The theater kid.
Mm-hmm. Also, you were talking about bits that you destroyed into the ground. Right now, me and my buddy that I've mentioned a few times, same one with
Same one, baby.
we've recently like became friends, and you know we've just been hanging out a lot.
Yeah.
He will come up to my ear in dance class because he's in the program with me, and he'll make this sound. Ready?
I didn't hear anything.
Do you hear that?
No.
Fuck! Oh my god.
Can you do it
Well,
again?
it's you know how about I try one more time? Get it that time?
No, it just sounded like
Fuck.
muffled audio. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll do my best to recreate it. It's that one meme sound where the guy goes. He will come up and whisper that into my ear in the middle of a class while someone is literally lecturing us on our PKs.
Jesus Christ.
I have started to lose my shit. It is so fucking funny.
It
It
is.
is getting beaten to the ground. At this point.
Honestly, okay, there's like we didn't hit any topics we wanted today, but honestly, I'm so glad we didn't because it's been way better than what I thought we were going to talk about, which is just like random bullshit, but like I have to say there's a cycle for bits. Have you had this experience where it's really funny, it's okay funny, it's dead, and then it's fucking super hilarious again because you're like, it should be dead right now. This should be dead, but you're doing it again, you motherfucker, you know?
No, that's my favorite moment when it's like stops. It starts to be annoying a little bit. You're like, okay, whatever. And then all of a sudden, it just comes at like the perfect moment that someone's like, fucking like, my name is Jeff. And you're like, yeah, let's go.
Let's go. It's like when I say, okay, I don't actually know if it was like this, the no bitches meme. I just randomly brought that shit back from the dead. I thought it was perfectly timed, but I don't know if you did.
That was funny as fuck because that meme had been dead in my brain for months at that point, and you're like, dude, look at this, and it's like, motherfuckers.
It's because it just when it just comes out of the blue again and it's supposed to be dead, you're like, this was perfect. It's fucking poetic in a weird way. You're like, oh my god,
it's so good.
But
anyways,
do we have another topic that we want to hit for maybe like 5-10 minutes?
Oh god,
try and get into one of these.
I feel like if I get one into one, I might get a little sidetracked.
That's true. We've been super sidetracked, but I wanted to like at least present the option just because like we only hit like two of them, but honestly, they were so good getting into
No,
them. So
we'll come back to some of these. Yeah, you guys are in for a lot. We didn't even get to the Try Guys drama, and I am well invested in that.
yeah, I feel like we can't. The thing is, we can't dive into Try Guys with
We can't
5 minutes to go.
because you know what? I have so many thoughts on that. I have so many thoughts on that.
True.
So you know what? Next time we'll have the Try Guys episode. We'll have the drama episode.
Here's what I can add though, as a little supplemental end of episode is, I guess funny story time is what I would call it, like little
yeah.
rant. So Tate and I shot an episode with a guest, and I did it all remote. Like I went out, did it on my MacBook, did the recording. We did some like testing. It was really weird because I couldn't hear some audio on like we were using AirPods, 2 pairs of AirPods connected to one MacBook, and I could not hear some audio, but I could hear Tate. So I had to run this like test, and we tested the audio, and I thought we were getting all of our audio. We shot an entire episode with none of Tate's audio. And I was like reviewing it, like I literally pressed stop recording, and I saw me and the person who I was like interviewing, who is Ariana, and we're certainly gonna like bring her on again because it was an awesome episode. It was like awesome shoot with her, and I think she's gonna run her own podcast, so we'll link that later. But I saw our bars moving and none for Tate, and I was like, "Hey, guy!" And we had like a little bit going that episode where we were saying "imagine" towards the end.
Imagine.
That's from her podcast. And I was like, "Hey guys, so like imagine like you recorded the whole thing and didn't get any of Tate's audio." So just know we had another episode planned, but it didn't work out. That's our...
You know what? One of these days, maybe we'll upload the 2/3 of the dialogue that we have.
There's no way. I couldn't do it. I watched it and like honestly, like it sounded pretty fine on our end because like we got our mic and everything set up, but like it's way too cringe. Because like there is like periods where you're telling an entire story or like a tangent or like an idea and it's just dead silent, and it's like us listening, or maybe one of us throws in a random question and then it's dead silent again. But so just know, stay tuned for more guests in the future now that we actually have some stuff set up.
Yeah, stay tuned for more sick guests like last time. Didn't you guys love that episode?
That was sick as fuck. Both of our guest episodes were flops. One only made it to YouTube, so no one watched it, and then one we didn't have our audio, so it might just be cursed. We might just be the two of us forever, actually. But anyways, that'll be the end for us.
You know what, everybody? As a way to end off this episode, drop a comment in the comments to say who your favorite guest was on our show.
Oh my god!
See next.
Yeah. Okay. Wait. We should at least present them some options. Like, what do we got?
No, that's the whole point.
James Wong. Any James Wongers in chat? I'll comment that myself.
Oh my god!
All right. Peace.
Let's hear it.